Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to today's video. And we're going to start off with some Hurricane Milton updates today because we have some additional itinerary changes and some upcoming closures. Now, as of filming this video, Hurricane Milton, still moving across the Gulf of Mexico, is currently a Category 4 hurricane, is expected to become a Category 5 hurricane, then weaken as it approaches Florida tomorrow, dropping back down to a Category 3. Still not something the people in Florida need, but I guess the silver lining is at least it's a 3 and not a 5. If you can find any silver lining in the fact that there's a hurricane heading for your home. Now, first up, we have the Celebrity Reflection, originally scheduled to go to Key West, Florida, will instead skip Key West and go to Nassau, Bahamas. The Carnival Paradise, scheduled to go to Cozumel, Mexico, will instead go to Costa Maya, Mexico. And the Carnival Paradise, scheduled to return to Tampa here on the 10th, that currently is a little bit unclear. It's really all going to depend, is the port back open? Is the Paradise going to be able to return on time? Now, the Carnival Elation still does not have any itinerary changes, but is also scheduled to return to port on October the 10th. Okay. But Hurricane Milton is expected to be on the east coast of Florida that day, which could affect the port in Jacksonville. So that return is also a little bit of question at this time. The Carnival Sunrise is supposed to be back in Miami October the 10th. That arrival is in question. And it's really all going to depend on the condition as to whether or not these ports are open. So we're watching Port Tampa, we're watching the Port of Miami, we are watching Port Canaveral, we are watching Jacksonville to see what exactly their condition is going to be as these cruise ships are arriving. So if you have any cruise arriving or departing from those ports, no matter what cruise line it is, keep in contact with your cruise line. Sign up for any text alerts. It is important that you know what is going on. Now, the Tampa airport has suspended operations as of 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. And at this time, no other major airports have announced closures, but they are monitoring the weather, and closures and delays and cancellations are, of course, possible. Now, we will continue to monitor Hurricane Milton. We will continue to monitor any effects or changes that it has to cruising. And as information comes out, we'll share it with you guys as soon as possible. Now, we have talked in the past about Juno, Alaska, and some attempts to limit cruise ships arriving in port, limit the number of cruise passengers that are allowed in port. And one of their most recent proposals, dubbed Free Ship Saturday, proposed by a local resident, which would essentially meant no cruise ships would have arrived in Juneau, Alaska on Saturdays, and oddly enough, the 4th of July. Now, this past week, it was put to the voters. They had an opportunity to vote on it. And, well, it turns out that the majority of residents don't want this ban. Approximately 60% of them have rejected the proposal and instead want cruise ship passengers, want the tourism dollars. So it doesn't look like cruising will stop to Juneau, Alaska on Saturdays anytime soon. Now, 2 scheduled cruises for the Norwegian Getaway, August 17th and August 21st of 2026, have been canceled for charter cruises, and any passengers that had booked on those cruises will be receiving a 100% refund and a 10% future cruise credit. Now, this is over 2 years away, so it does give plenty of time for people to look at alternatives, different cruise ships, different cruise lines, and kind of still replan their vacation. At least it's not a last-minute thing. Now, for Norwegian Gem, they have an upcoming sailing here on December the 2nd of 2024. And for that particular sailing, when they disembark on December the 11th, there's going to be an odd change in the way they disembark the ship. Now, disembarkation, does normally start pretty early in the morning. They got to get everybody off the ship, get the ship cleaned, prepared to bring on the next set of guests. But for this disembarkation, they plan to start it at 4 a.m. in the morning, and that's pretty early. The embarkation time for your upcoming cruise on board the beautiful Norwegian Gem on December the 2nd, 2024 has been updated and will now commence at 4 a.m. local time. Now, Norwegian Cruise Lines has not come out and specifically said, why are they making this change? Why do passengers have to get off at 4 a.m. in the morning? They did send out a letter. They did let passengers know, but it's in a very vague, typical Norwegian style form letter where it's all about the guest experience and it's all about environmental sustainability. And I have to ask, how does getting off the ship at 4 a.m. improve the guest experience or provide environmental sustainability? But that's at least what Norwegian is saying. We are committed to providing the best vacations at sea and have been working tirelessly to continue elevating the quality of the overall guest experience while positively impacting society and the environment. As we continue to optimize itineraries for fuel efficiency as part of our commitment to the environment and sustainability efforts, enhanced turnaround operations, as well as global maritime regulations, we have adjusted the original itinerary. Now, this is something we see all the time from Norwegian Cruise Lines. They're kind of becoming notorious for selling itineraries and then changing them right before the cruise for environmental sustainability, skipping ports altogether over fuel efficiency and improvement of the guest experience. I'm just not sure how getting off of the ship at 4 a.m. does any of those things, but coming from Norwegian, not really all that surprised. Now we have some more updates on our favorite cruise line soap opera going on out there, the Ve Odessey. She did finally sail. She finally got that paperwork done and has actually left Belfast and sailed on and actually made it all the way to France. But there are all kinds of reports coming from this cruise ship that at this point, I'm not 100% sure which ones are true and which ones aren't true. But look, if even half of these are true, I feel bad for some of the people on board this cruise ship. So there are reports that the water osmosis system on board the ship may not be working, meaning they can't make fresh water. They have to dock every time they need to bring on water. The ship did dock in France, but apparently they didn't let the cruise passengers off. They couldn't get off the ship. No hot water on the ship. The toilet vacuum systems aren't working correctly. And there's a question as to whether or not they've arranged for docking in all of these different cruise ports, whether or not they're even going to be allowed to dock and let their passengers off. Now, again, of course, none of this is confirmed from Villa V, and they are not talking about the problems that are coming off of this ship. So how much of this is true and how much of it isn't, I don't know. We've already seen a cruise passenger kicked off for complaining online about things that were going on the ship. So are the passengers even feel like they can come on and describe what is happening on board the ship? Are these just rumors? Are these facts? And is the Villa V Odessey ever going to just have a happy ending and cruise on with happy passengers? And finally, we have a Royal Caribbean hero story. And hopefully some more information comes out about this story because there's some things missing right now. But I would like to hear more, and I'd like to hear more specifics because look, this is a really good story. So we have a Royal Caribbean ship docked down in Honduras. A cruise passenger went overboard. We don't know what Royal Caribbean ship this was. We don't know what caused the cruise passenger to go overboard at this time. But we do know that there was a Dublin firefighter on board the ship. He is a swift water rescue technician. He is a paramedic. And when this cruise passenger went overboard, he dived in the water, grabbed the life buoy that had been thrown overboard, swam over to the passenger, rescued them, and then took them ashore. So firefighter Rory Foy, F-O-Y, hopefully I'm not messing up this gentleman's name. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Firefighters are already impressive. It takes some severe intestinal fortitude to run into a burning building. But now we have one that just dove off the side of a cruise ship in order to save a passenger that was in the water. Now, the passenger that went overboard is reported to be in good condition, and this clearly shows firefighters are never off duty, even if they're on cruise ships down in Honduras. And this man is truly a hero. All right, and that is going to be our video for today. If you've enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day, and like always, we will see you out on the high seas.